Hey guys, this week I want to talk about how you can gain weight and build muscle fast, simplified. I'm going to be doing a 4-part series, and today I'm just going to show you what I eat for breakfast. Now, depending on what your goals are, you may want to implement a little more to your breakfast, or you may want to implement a little less. So I'm just going to show you what I cook for breakfast every morning, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. Alright, the first thing I use, let's see. I use Smart Balance cooking spray. There is a lot of controversy about Smart Balance, like butters and stuff. You know, is it healthier than regular butter? My personal opinion is I use Smart Balance spray and butter, but I will say nothing outbeats really real butter. I mean, I think the reason why a lot of people use margarine is because it's just easier to spread. That's pretty much the #1 reason why people buy margarine as opposed to butter. And one thing I'm going to say about margarine and butter is they actually did a study where they put a tub of butter and a tub of margarine inside of a garage, and all the insects went to the butter and not the margarine. So that goes to show you that even insects know the difference between what is better and healthier as opposed to the other stuff, which is margarine. I think margarine is actually one molecule away from plastic. And this is the kind of stuff that people are putting into their bodies every day. So anyway, that's just a side note. I do use Smart Balance butter. There's no, calories or trans fat or anything, and it's no hydrogenated oils. That's another thing that's really you want to stay away from. So, all right, we're just going to get started. So I use the Smart Balance spray here. All right, we're going to turn this on about medium heat or so. And the other thing I like to use is I like to use cage-free eggs. These are cage-free hens, fed only with the purest, all-natural grain-fed, no hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. So I use this. It's just, healthier for you. Now, depending on what you want to do, I use 2 whole eggs. You don't have to. I mean, if you're looking to gain a little bit of weight and want the extra fat, then you can go ahead and use 2 eggs. Some people just like to use just the egg whites, but I've got to say that from what I've learned, that the yolk is the most nutritional part of the egg, so you definitely want to incorporate that in there. Now, there'll be times where, I'll want to get shredded, so I'll maybe just put 1 egg yolk in there, not 2. The other thing I buy is I like to add a little more egg whites to my eggs, so I'll buy this all whites by, I think it's by Crystal Farms. Yes, Crystal Farms. So I'll use this. You can use this for they got recipe for smoothies and stuff like that. But I like to use this for my eggs, and I just like to add a little more eggs to it so I can get a little extra protein. You're going to see a lot of information below this video in detail of what nutrition consists of when it comes to bodybuilding. Nutrition is very, very important. And if you don't have breakfast, breakfast they say is the most important part of the day. You tend to have healthier habits throughout the day when you start off with breakfast. You need to fuel your body all the time when you're building muscle. So we'll just go ahead and we'll get this cooked here. If I can find my spatula. And I scramble them, you don't have to. I mean, if you want to add a little pepper to it, that's not going to hurt either. Pepper's another fat-burning ingredient that you can add to your eggs. So we'll go ahead and turn that up a little bit. Now, I also have this oatmeal over here. It's gluten-free, and the one thing you want to eat is rolled oats. You don't want to eat like the quick oats. They're not as healthier for you. What I will say about the old-fashioned rolled oats is that it takes a little bit longer to cook. Again, we live in a society, it's very fast-paced. We like things quick and easy. Some people like to eat the quick oats. They want to use the margarine because it's easier to spread. But it just takes dedication when you're bodybuilding. I mean, you gotta, you want to eat the right things to fuel your body. This is a really good one. Now, I probably won't eat this today because I'm going to use but you can. I mean, if you're looking to put on some weight and you're having trouble with that, then by all means, go ahead and implement some oatmeal into your diet as well in the morning. One thing that I've just learned last year is that you don't want to consume carbohydrates, again, depending on your goals. You don't want to consume carbohydrates too early in the morning because you want to have a steady rise in blood sugars. Carbohydrates tend to spike your insulin, and sometimes that's not as good to do in the morning. Also, if you eat carbs right before a workout, you actually can become very sluggish in the gym. If you're going to consume a carbohydrate before you work out, you may want to consume about a couple hours before you work out. That way you can use these carbohydrates for energy in the gym. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use Ezekiel bread. This is very good. It's a flourless bread. It's made with a bunch of whole grains. So I definitely use this. This is a really good alternative to eating just regular bread. And you know, there's carbs in this too. There's not as much as the oatmeal. I think this has this is only 15 grams per slice, so that's not that much. Where the oatmeal has much more. And you know, if you're looking to gain weight, then by all means, eat the oatmeal. So we're just going to go ahead and put this in the toaster here. So we'll go ahead and we'll get that going. Now, one thing I like to do in my oatmeal is, like, sometimes people have trouble eating oatmeal because, you know, we're so used to eating things that are sweet and that taste good, and plain oatmeal, you know, for some people just doesn't taste good. So what I like to do with my oatmeal, if I was going to cook that today, I would make the oatmeal, and then I would use fresh blueberries, if you like blueberries, and then I'll use, let's see here, I shouldn't have it down here. I'll use cinnamon. Cinnamon is excellent for lowering blood sugar, so you might want to implement some cinnamon with that. Not cinnamon sugar, but just cinnamon. And then if you want something that's a little sweet, you want to sweeten up your oatmeal, I use this. I use stevia. Much, much better, much healthier. You can use this for a lot of things. I'll use it with my Greek yogurt. I'll put blueberries and stevia in it. So that's a really good alternative to sugar. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and this is starting to cook now. And one thing is that you never want to skip out on breakfast. There's so many guys I see, you know, when I go to work and stuff, they don't eat breakfast. They just go straight to lunch, and they wonder why they can't, you know, stay healthy. Because you got to remember, when you're asleep, you're in a fasted state. Your body's in a fasted state, and the first thing you want to do is you want to wake up and you need to fuel your body. When it comes to bodybuilding, you're constantly tearing that muscle down. I mean, you got to refuel all the time. And you want to eat probably 5-6 times a day, 2-3 hours apart. So actually, this is almost done here. And Ezekiel bread's almost done. So this is pretty much what I eat every day. Proteins and fats are very important in the morning. And if you want to implement some carbohydrates, you can have all this stuff here. But again, just read the information I have below this video. I have my own website. I have a lot of nutritional tips on there, muscle building tips. I also have other videos of me working out. I'm going to be doing a lot more in the future. And next week we're going to talk about supplements. Are they important? The supplement industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and you know, you'll see a lot of these magazines out there promoting supplements, and you got these guys that are huge on there, and you know, the supplement companies may not like me for saying this, but it's like, do you really need all those supplements? Are you going to look like that guy in the magazine? So we're going to talk about that next week. Now, I do implement certain supplements in my diet, but not all of them. I don't believe in all the hype and all that stuff. I may take a little pre-workout just to get energy to go into the gym and work out. But there's certain supplements that are important. There are. But there's a lot of them out there that are just full of fillers and garbage. And I'll show you the ones that I take that are pretty good. Actually, my cabinet's right here. This is all my supplements here, and we'll give you a little sneak peek of my supplement cupboard here. But we'll talk about that next week in the next video. That's going to be part of this 4-part series. And looks like my eggs are done. And I scramble them. I mean, you don't have to scramble them if you just want to keep the egg yolks whole. And you know, sometimes I'll do that, but most of the time I'll just go ahead and scramble my eggs. So there's my eggs there. I know my toast is done. And that's about it, guys. I mean, this is pretty much what I consume. You can implement other things like the oatmeal and stuff if you want to really start putting on weight, and if you're having trouble, you know, gaining weight. Again, you know, it all depends on what your goals are. You know, you want to bulk up, you want to add more calories, and that's another thing I didn't point out in this video, is that in order to build muscle, you have to be in a caloric surplus. Okay, a lot of guys think that, oh yeah, I'm eating 5,000-6,000 calories a day, but are they tracking it? Do they really know that that's the amount of calories they're eating every day? Probably not. So you definitely want to track it, because the only way you're going to know is you got to track what you're eating. Okay, and I know it's a little difficult tracking everything and all that, but just, try it out. There's certain apps that I have on my iPhone that I use to track all my calories and my proteins, fats, and carbs, and I explain that in detail below this video. But make sure to check out my site, turnaroundfitness.com. The whole idea of the site is just turning your life around through fitness. You don't have to live a healthy lifestyle. There are ways of building muscle, the easy, the fast way, and simplified. I mean, science has a great place for when it comes to bodybuilding, is sometimes you just have to listen to your body and just go out there into the real world and experiment with things and see the kind of results you get from it. So next time we're going to talk about supplements, and I'll see you then.